sometimes a war of words. And so let me ask you a pointed question. You're a biologist. Is evolution real?
Yes and no. What I'm going to have to do is actually define some terms. And this is one of the things that scientists do. I know that drives people mad, but we do it because it makes us look very clever. And so we do it. And if we are really desperate to impress people, we start speaking in Latin. But really, what's going on with a term like evolution is that it is commonly used in different ways.
Okay.
If you look at just one meaning of the word evolution, the idea that things have changed over time. Mm-hmm. This is not a controversial idea. I personally believe that the Bible gives an accurate record of the history of life on earth. I wish that it gave more detail sometimes, but the record that is there is accurate. And as a consequence of that, I have to believe that things today are not the same as they were when God created them in the first place.
Okay.
Things have changed over time. On the other hand, another meaning of this idea of evolution has to do with mechanism.
Okay.
The idea of natural selection that Charles Darwin came up with. Now we couple it together with DNA mutation, the idea that the DNA changes randomly, that produces variation, and then natural selection works on that variation. And through this process, we go from amoebas to giraffes, or human beings, or oak trees.
Right. Now certainly that process has been demonstrated that we mutate, and that's an advantage, and so on, right? We've got a mountain of evidence.
No. There's actually very little evidence of mutations that actually produce something that is beneficial in any way. In fact, I cannot think of a single example that is an unambiguously superior situation that's obviously due to a mutation. On the other hand, I can think of dozens off the top of my head, and I'm sure I could give you hundreds if I looked in the literature, of mutations that cause severe problems like microcephaly.
Right, okay.
The skull that we just looked at.
So evolution can be used different ways, and it's important when people are discussing this that everybody knows what we're talking about when we talk about evolution.
Yes. Now, a third definition, and there are more than the three that I'm giving you here, is the idea that there is no God involved, that somehow or other the chemicals can randomly interact together and ultimately produce that first amoeba or what have you, and then this mechanism of natural selection is sufficient then to bring us to where we are now without any outside intervention. So that would be a third idea, and obviously that's something that we as Christians and I think that many people who look at the evidence